School Lunch Challenge, back again. Today we have a turkey and cheese sandwich, an apple, carrot slices, our yogurt, grape juice, milk, and cheese stick. So we're gonna start out making our stuffing casserole in the microwave. For our stuffing casserole, we're gonna end up using our carrots, our sandwich, some milk, and a cheese stick. Let's go ahead and get started. For our turkey stuffing in a mug recipe, we're gonna take our carrots and our chef's knife, or any kind of a knife that you feel comfortable with. And we wanna go ahead and chop these up. So taking our knife, holding it securely in our hand, keeping that claw down, and just simply rocking it back and forth, cutting it into little circles. Okay. You can put as much or as little carrot as you like. So I'm gonna use 4 carrots for this. Okay, so I have 4 carrots in there. And I'm gonna add that to my mug. So my orange mug with the cats on it, I don't know if you can tell, it's October here, but our carrots in our mug, and I'm gonna go ahead and add in a tablespoon of water, cover this in plastic wrap, and microwave this for 45 seconds so that I soften the carrot before I make my stuffing mixture. Otherwise the carrots will remain too hard and it won't be an even texture throughout the entire mixture. I microwaved my carrots at 45 seconds. They started to soften. They're steamy. So to this, I'm gonna add in half of a tablespoon of butter. I'm gonna put it in for 10 seconds. The heat from the carrot should help to melt the butter. And then I'm gonna build my stuffing mixture. My butter is mostly melted, so I'm gonna set that aside, and I'm gonna bring back my sandwich and get my bread and my meats into my mug. So here we have our turkey, our cheese, and our bread. Now, I don't like the crust, so I'm actually gonna trim that off with my knife. But if you like the crust, that's okay. You can keep your crust on. And then here, I'm gonna cut the bread into smaller pieces. So I'm gonna go ahead and just cut it nice and straight down into small cubes, about the size of a game dice, okay, which is why we call it a dice. So it should look like a little cube of dice that you roll. Okay, so I have all my pieces of bread, and I'm gonna add that into my mug, and then I'm gonna make my topping for my stuffing mixture. So I'm gonna get all of that in there and get that ready. Okay, so already I'm looking forward to eating my sandwich in a different way other than a sandwich. Now I have a couple pieces here that were meat and cheese on the corner. If I want to stick that in there, I can go ahead so that I'm not wasting anything. I'm going to set this aside. To our bowl, we are going to add in 1/4 cup of milk, which is 2 ounces. We are going to be using 1 egg. And again, I'm gonna just use a separate container to crack and separate my egg so that I don't get any shells in there. Placing that in the bowl. Now, if you have it, turkey herbs, something that you would put on. If you did not, some thyme or a little sage, or sage and thyme would be nice, but 1/4 teaspoon, because that's really what the Thanksgiving smell comes from, is this little bit of herb, which is sage and thyme. So if you have either of those or both of those, you can put those in, or turkey herbs or poultry seasoning. Any one of those would be fine. So we added in that herb. And one final thing I'm gonna add is, if you have a package of some brand of ramen at home, chicken flavored, inside there they usually have a package of basically what is a very salty base. So I'm gonna go ahead and open that up. I'm not gonna use the whole thing. It's a fairly inexpensive way to have a base that has a lot of flavor in it. has your salt, so we're not going to be adding any additional salt. So 1/4 teaspoon of that, and some chicken flavor. You could use bouillon cube. To that, I would say maybe 1/4 of the bouillon cube. So dissolve that in about a tablespoon of water, hot water, and then take out your, like a teaspoon of the bouillon cube. But placing that in there and mixing it around. So we're gonna break up our egg, make our custard mixture. So really make sure that that egg is broken apart. You can use a fork. You don't have to use a whisk. Okay, and so now we're all mixed together. So to that, I'm actually gonna dump out, just because I have more room in my bowl, the mixture that I did for the bread and the carrots. And to that, I'm gonna add some cheese stick. I'm gonna cut the cheese stick up into little cubes so that I have little cheese pockets in there. So open this up. Using my knife, keeping that knife rocking on the board. Never bring it up and down like that. You have more chances of cutting your finger. Just little tiny rounds, just like you did for the carrots or rondelles. Okay, breaking that up. Just a second layer of cheese, and we're gonna add that all into our bowl. And I'm gonna just mush that down with either the fork, whatever you used, to really soak that bread in and get all of my mixture coated. So I want all of that egg mixture coated around my stuffing. Okay, so now I've mixed that around. I'm gonna place this back into my mug. Putting that down into the mug, and I'm gonna microwave this starting at 1 minute, checking it after a minute to see how far it's come and determine our overall microwave time. Depending on the size of your mug and how much it's full, that's gonna determine, in addition to the strength of your microwave, what your microwave is heating at. So just push that down. You can see that milk mixture kind of pop up a little bit, which is good. And let's start with 1 minute, see where we end up. It's been 1 minute, and you can see it's still a little bit wet in the center. Now we do have egg, and we want to make sure that it's cooked all the way through. So we're gonna take this for another minute just to make sure that the custard is set and our egg is cooked. At this point, I'm checking my custard. It's pretty eggy inside. So I want to go for another 2 minutes because I don't want to risk anything not being cooked in my stuffing mixture. Overall, our final microwave time on this item was 4 minutes, so 2 minutes, and then I stopped it and put it in for an additional 2 minutes. Overall, I finished microwaving for 4 minutes. My stuffing is cooked through. In my mug, school lunch challenge. Accepted, completed, smells like turkey. Amazing. Enjoy.